Hello, my name is Dwayne Kimball, owner and founder of KMD89, a VA claims consultant, Leave No Vet Behind, and also I'm a United States Army veteran. Today I'm bringing you another video as it pertains to the VA disability compensation claims process. And today is going to be step 3 of my series on the VA claims process. Okay, so in my previous videos, my first video, I stated, verify which conditions you're claiming under the 5 ways of service connection. Number 2, which prescribed claim forms do you need for your situation? Now, if you've done both of those, the VA has reviewed them, and now it is time for either for you to go to a C&P exam or you submitted a DBQ. So today I'm going to break it up into 2 sections. One, the C&P exam, whether you're going to the VA C&P exam or a third-party contractor C&P exam, and then the second part will be the DBQ, okay? So throughout this video, I am going to share some of my personal experiences, and then towards the end of the video, I'm going to share with you, if I had to do it all over again, which one would I do? Would I go to the VA C&P exam or third-party contractor, or will I do a DBQ and possibly have to use a nexus statement, okay? So with that being said, let's get into today's video. Now, before I start with the C&P exam process, let me just state, if you as the veteran, it is up to you to make that decision if you want to go to that C&P exam or not, if you want to refuse it. I don't tell anybody they should or they shouldn't go. What I do state is you should be educated on both, okay? If you decide to go to the C&P exam, how does that look, okay? What is the criteria for the condition you're claiming? How do you reasonably articulate your symptomology? And then if you decide to use a DBQ and you don't go, okay? So let me start with the C&P exam. So you submitted your claim. The VSR, the VA, or the RVSR has looked at it and said, hey, everything is good to go. This veteran is entitled to a compensation and pension exam. They send their request over to QTC, LHI, VES services. Now, in the M21 reference manual, there are still a few veterans that the VA states that has to be done at the VA C&P clinic, okay? And then sometimes they may just a simple exam could be done there as well. But anyway, you're gonna have 4 choices, or the VA has 4 choices as it pertains to sending you to a C&P exam, okay? Now, you've done everything, you submitted the claim, now it gets in front of somebody and they say, yep, veteran wants a C&P exam. You're gonna get a call from either the VA C&P office or the third-party contractor. And they're going to state, or you may even get a letter. I've been hearing veterans saying they got a FedEx package or something in the mail stating to show up with some instructions, okay? But either way, you got the exam. You get a call or a letter, you call back and they try and schedule you. And you say, okay, well, I'm available on this day. All right, and they schedule the exam, you hang the phone up. That's mistake number 1. And that's the mistake that I did. When the VA called me, the thing that I didn't do, that I should have done, was ask them, what exams do you have scheduled? And the reason why this is so important is, let's just say you claim 5 different conditions. You claim PTSD, you claim a back condition, you claim tinnitus, you claim migraines, okay? And then you claim diabetes. You claim 5 different things. And they call you. They say, we're going to schedule you for some exams. You want to know which exams you've been scheduled for, because diabetes is endocrine, back is musculoskeletal, PTSD is mental. Did I already say migraines, neurological? Okay, so there's those different body systems. You want to know which exams you're showing up for, because then you can go to the rating schedule and look at the diagnostic code criteria and figure out where you fall. And the reason why that is even more important, because when you do get to the C&P exam, you can reasonably articulate your symptomology as it pertains to the exam that has been requested for you. Now, a lot of my clients and a lot of veterans that I talk to, they'll say, oh, I've been scheduled for an exam. They'll ask me what exams I've been scheduled for. I'm like, I don't know. I didn't request the exam. So there's ways that you can find out. One, if you receive a phone call, you receive a letter, there should be a number in that packet where you can call and say, hey, I've been scheduled, or I'm calling to schedule. What exams are you scheduling me for? Or you can call the VA 800 number at the call center and you can ask, say, hey, I've been contacted by QTC. They're saying, they can't see the exam request. Can you look in my claim folder and see the exam request and tell me exactly what conditions have been requested for a C&P exam? Now, what I've been hearing feedback from veterans is this. QTC, LHI, VA services are saying, we don't know. We can't see it. So if you can't see it, how do you know which exams to schedule, whether it's a mental, endocrine, neurological, musculatory, or whatever? Okay? Because they could be all on different days. And then I've heard veterans say they call the 800 number and the VSR at the call center says, I don't know where to look. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. You're answering the phones, veterans are calling in, they're asking what exams, look at that exam request. I know it used to be called a 2507 medical request. I don't know if the VA still calls it that. But if you ask, say, hey, I've been contacted for an exam, can you look at the exam request that was submitted to QTC, LHI, whoever, because you should have that information. And when you call the 800 number, they should be able to tell you exactly what conditions. Now, on the flip side, I've heard veterans say, hey, I called QTC, LHI. They told me exactly, what exams I had, or I called the VA 800 number and they told exactly, they looked it up and they told me exactly what exams I had. So that's, one of the inconsistencies that I've seen. Now, with my claim, my first claim, I think I claimed about 15 different things. So even before I got a call from the VA C&P office, because DBQs weren't available when I did my first claim. They weren't even created, and there wasn't any third-party contractors. You had to go to the VA C&P office to do the exam. So when they contacted me, I claimed about 15 things, but when they contacted me, I did not ask what exams been scheduled for me. I didn't even contact my VSO at the time and ask them. But I knew that a lot of the conditions that I did claim did not fall under the 5 ways of service connection. So I wasn't expecting a C&P exam for those. But there were some things that did fall under the 5 ways of service connection that the regional office that had jurisdiction over my claim did not request. So I get to the exam, and the examiner, I think he did my ankles and my knees and tinnitus, that's ringing in the ears. And I asked, I said, hey, what about the other things? And he just turned the paper around. He said, here's the exam request. This is all that they requested. Okay, and then the fight for me started from there. Okay, so again, just to recap on the C&P exam, one of the things is you want to know out of whatever conditions that you claim, which exams have they scheduled, especially if they're multiple. If you just claim one condition or one issue and you don't have a routine future or something like that, then more than likely it's for what you requested. But still, you will want to verify. So once that's verified, you can go to the rating schedule, look at the diagnostic code criteria for that particular condition or conditions, and figure out where you fall at the 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%, or whatever. Then that way you can educate yourself. So when you do get to the C&P exam, guess what you can do? You can reasonably articulate your symptomology. Okay? Now, second is the DBQ. Okay? There's been a lot of controversy around these DBQs since they've come back March 1st of this year. Some people like them, some people don't. The people that don't, or what I've been hearing, especially the comments I've been receiving, or some of the VA employees. Okay? Why? I don't know. All right? But if you so choose to do a DBQ, whether it be for increase or direct service connection or secondary service connection, if you do it for that, you're going to need a nexus statement. Okay, because you got to create that link. Got to be a medical opinion and a rationale. Now, if it's just an increase, then it's just a DBQ. A lot of mistakes that I've been seeing veterans do is they don't know what makes a DBQ actionable and sufficient. When I used to work for the VA as a rating specialist, I reviewed countless DBQs. Okay, some of them were actionable and sufficient, some were not. So let's just say you get a DBQ done for increase, okay? And you submit it. You need to know, or you should want to know, if that DBQ has been done or completed correctly. Just because it was done by a mental health professional or a medical doctor doesn't mean it was completed correctly and it's actionable and sufficient for rating purposes. You want to make sure that all the boxes are completed, all your T's are crossed, and your I's are dotted, okay? Now, if you need a nexus statement, same thing. You want to make sure that it's all correct. I share this in some of my other videos. My last claim, I did an increase for a particular condition. My private doctor completed for me. I took the information to my private doctor that I needed, okay? And he completed the DBQ, all right? So for those of you that, and I should have had this out earlier, this is a paper copy of my claim. I show this in some of my videos in live stream. I do have this on CD. Now I didn't take all of this to him because it was just for increase, but something in here that I did take, it was some treatment that I've received at the VA probably a few years earlier. Now, they really didn't need it because it was part of the rating decision that granted that particular benefit. But I wanted to take it anyway because I wanted him to be sure that he could check off that box, hey, I reviewed your claims folder. All right, so I took the necessary information, and some of this information, the VA didn't have it. So it wasn't even in my claim file. Now, what happened? They called me to come in for a C&P exam. Now, a lot of people say, oh, you can't refuse a C&P exam. I did. And the reason why I did is because my DBQ was actionable and sufficient for rating purposes. The RVSR had more than enough information that was supplied on that DBQ by my private physicianer to grant the increase. I refused the exam. I said, you know what? I'm not going. I called the 800 number. I said, hey, note on the VA form 21-08, what is it, 0820, I believe, that I'm refusing that exam. I even had it in the wording of me claiming a C&P exam. I stated I'm claiming an increase for this particular condition. Please do not schedule me for a C&P exam. Please forward to the rating activity to rate with the evidence of record. My DBQ is actionable and sufficient for rating purposes. Something like that, okay? I kept a copy in here. I have thus received a CD with the same information, okay? So I decided not to go, all right? Most veterans that have DBQs that are actionable and sufficient, let's just say they get that call and they go. And the information at the C&P exam is used against them. And they're like, well, wait a minute. I got denied. I had a DBQ in the favorable findings. You just gave the VA that information to use against you. Okay, so again, you want to be educated on both ways. If you decide to go to the C&P exam, what does that look like for you? Okay, if you don't go to the C&P exam because you have a DBQ, what does that look like? Now, some of the inconsistencies that I've been seeing within the VA and some raters, okay, depending on where your claim is, which regional office has jurisdiction over your claim. Some veterans, they send in the DBQ, is actionable and sufficient, goes through, no problem. Some veterans, they submit the DBQ, they get called for a C&P exam like I did. They refuse the exam, and it's you know, then is the benefit the benefit that veterans claiming is granted. Okay, and then I've seen some come in for increases, especially when they say confirm to continue, and they say you refused the exam, but in some of those rating decisions, they're not even put in the evidence section that the veteran had a DBQ or why the DBQ was not used. Okay, if it's not actionable and sufficient, I think they will pick up the phone and call you and say, hey, this is, you know, reason why we didn't use it. But I understand why they don't do it. They're on quotas and they're pumping these claims out. Okay, so now, like I said earlier, if I had to do it over again, what would I do? I will not, and I repeat, and I'm holding to this statement. I will not go to a C&P exam. That's me. I'm not telling you that you shouldn't. I'm just saying I wouldn't. The reason why, I've shared some of those reasons in some other YouTube videos of mine. One, I had 4 C&P exams. 2 of them went really well. The other 2 were horrible. And they put information in there, negative information, untrue information. I was like, you know what? I'm going to have my private doctor do it from now on. That's me. You have to make that decision on what you would do, okay? I just got to the point where I didn't trust C&P examiners anymore, but I made sure that my DBQ was actionable and sufficient. If I had to do it again, I would educate myself on what makes a DBQ actionable and sufficient, and if I need a nexus statement, what does that look like? I would get educated on that. And I think that's where a lot of veterans fall short. Now, in the M21 reference manual, there's a lot of instructions the VA employees have to follow as it pertains to DBQs, okay? And also in the 38 CFR, like I stated earlier, you know, some VA employees, they'll say, oh, I don't like DBQs, or you can't do it because it's out of state, you can't do it because of that. If somebody says that, I want to see the 38 CFR and M21 that states that. Now, there could be an internal memo or something like that, but I still want to see a 38 CFR or M21. And if those individuals are saying that, then they're violating a 38 CFR where an adjudicator cannot let their personal feelings come into play when they're making a decision on these claims, okay? But you as the vet, you have to be educated on which process that you're going to follow. Go to the C&P exam, or if you have a DBQ with a nexus statement, okay? I'll probably do another 2 videos in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps of the VA claims process. But also, this is something I'm going to recap in our live stream this month. You don't want to miss it, okay? So with that being said, please like, subscribe, hit that notification button. Again, I challenge people to submit their requests to get a copy of this exam. And when you do submit the request, leave a comment in the comment section. And when you receive it, leave a comment. Let us know that you received your CD with your VA claims file, okay? So if I don't see you in any of our educational training that's listed on the website, I'll see you in the next educational video or in my next YouTube live stream. Thank you.